Hello everyone and welcome to the Enemies Elliot, and thank you for joining me as we talk about chapter 222 to 225 of the Name Hunt Station arc from the Tower of God webtoon series. A set of chapters that ended off this arc in a spectacular fashion, almost outclassing the entire arc itself by having such a dramatic ending, pitting Yuri Jihad versus Slayer Kuraka. So, before I go into this video and into my thoughts, I do just need to remind you that I've done another video in where I've gone over my thoughts on the stuff that happens before this. So if you haven't seen that one, make sure you go check that out after you've watched this video. But with that out of the way, let's get started. First off, let's talk about Kuraka. This character burst onto the scene, adding a more darker and more of a dreaded vibe to the overall feel of the chapters. I personally wasn't feeling like Kuraka stood a chance against Yuri after the display we've seen from this princess. However, I'm glad to have been proven wrong, because what we got given was something spectacular and very much so enjoyable. The moves used, like the World of Darkness, looked absolutely amazing. The artwork on that was fabulous, and I loved the concept of the move while Kuraka uses it. This also helps to reinforce the reason as to why he is a Slayer, tanking these shots from Yuri Jihad, even kind of tanking the needle known as Kronos, a weapon that was used by a high ranker who travelled with the 10 great families. When seeing the weapon ignite, the art style used for that was so pretty, so fantastic, and I hope we see more of it. This weapon is a one-shot deal that helped its former user travel with those 10 great families, before losing it while charging at Ulik Mazuno. Just the design of that weapon itself looked incredible. I loved the carvings and the fact that he inscribed his story and his journey onto the weapon before losing it. That was awesome. The line that Kuraka stated in where he said, "I'll sacrifice one of my arms for now," at first made me think that he was some sort of machine robot creature that was created by the workshop itself. However, when reading a bit further on, we see him use a certain skill called World of Darkness Infinite Lives. Now, this skill obviously explains how he got the arm back, because we see the arm regrown in that final end panel before it fades over to Team Sweet and Sour. Now, honestly, with that type of ability, there needs to be some major drawback or some kind of condition for him to use it. Otherwise, as long as he has a bit of Shinzu strength and he might only just have like one eye, half his body missing, maybe a couple of fingers, use that skill, boom, he's back to normal. So honestly, it's a very powerful technique because his World of Darkness kind of inventory branches off into different moves and different sections. Like, for example, he has one skill that allows him to absorb everything that gets attacked into the ball, but he also has another skill that can send back what he's absorbed as like a counteract type of move. So yeah, I mean, the World of Darkness moveset that he has is extremely broken, insanely powerful, and emphasizes just why he is a Slayer. Personality-wise, I loved the intimidating aura that this character brought with him to the chapter. Plus, the amount of confidence that this character exerts when Bam was standing up against him. His response to Bam's kind of threats of saying, "If you continue to harass my friends, I'm not going to stand by any longer," he just responds with, "So?" And he was completely baffled by the idea of a candidate, a Slayer candidate, talking up to an actual Slayer. So yeah, I mean, I just love the personality display from him. He saw Bam underneath him. He saw Bam as nothing more than something that he would have stepped over if he had to get more influence. And yes, Bam at this point is a lot weaker than Kuraka. There is no possible outcome where Bam would win in a one-on-one fight against this Slayer. So, I mean, the personality traits that Kuraka displays is justified and warranted and epic. But that big cliffhanger at the end where Karaka states, "My brother is alive," that panel left me speechless. But after some time thinking about it, and that hurt my throat, I do believe that Wangnan and Karaka are connected in more ways than one. The terms brother in the series could be not directly blood related, because we've seen examples within the 10 Great Households where, for example, the Aerie family referred to themselves as being siblings despite having different mothers and different fathers. So, I mean, they can still be brothers in that terms, in that sense. For me personally, I believe that Wangnan and Karaka are related family-wise, but just with different circumstances. If I were to have a good guess, Karaka would have been the elder brother, maybe the first attempt at creating or developing a Prince of Jihad. Now, that's just my kind of guess because of the rings having the Jihad symbol on them, and the rings obviously being represented as the worst mistake created by the Jihad family. Now, of course, in order to create the Prince of Jihad, there may have been some experiments or some annoying former developments that then deemed Karaka unworthy to become a prince. So then they pushed him to one side and then start to work on Wangnam, who was much younger. But again, he proved talentless, so both brothers were exiled or cast away to different locations. Now, with Karaka being a bit older and maybe retaining his memories, is now seeking revenge, so he joins Thug, where he can exact that. Whereas one hand, Wangnam being slightly younger and being more affected by the experiments or the process of creating a Prince of Jihad, maybe he has lost all of his memories and at the moment only holds fragments. So he's climbing the tower to find answers. This is just my speculation and my way of thinking and kind of putting pieces together that we don't actually have all the pieces yet. So this is something that's very interesting, very intriguing, that I hope that they expand on and come back to shortly. I feel like if they leave it for too long, then they are going to, what's the word I'm looking for? They're going to lose the impact that they could have. It has to happen, in my opinion, within the next kind of 3 arcs. They have to explain some form of connection between the rings and these two characters. But that's just the way I think. I could be wrong, and no matter what happens, no matter how long we have to wait, I know the payoff for this reveal is going to be excellent. The series has not let me down at all yet, so let's just wait and find out as we go through the tower. Next up, I want to talk about Yuri Jihad. The most important point that I want to talk about her character in this video was the task she gave Bam. She tells Bam to bring me Kaiser's head, which we learn from the series that that is a code word or phrase from the 10 Great Households in where they give to someone they want to get rid of or they don't like, and they want to keep at that particular floor. Yuri saying to Bam, bring me Kaiser's head, she expected Bam to fail, hence the way she sent someone with influence and importance to buy him back. For me, I see both sides as to why she did this. On the one hand, Yuri is trying to protect Bam from entering the floor of death, because it's a very mysterious, ominous, and dangerous floor that not even princesses are allowed to visit themselves. Then again, that having Yuri go there isn't really that big of a deal. It's kind of redundant at this point, because Yuri's been to Heldon's floor, she's gotten on the train when she's not meant to, so, I mean, her breaking the rules is no different. But yeah, she's being a bit overprotective and she's being very kind of cagey towards Bam. But on the other side of things, I can see another negative, because she's not really showing a good amount of trust or faith within Bam's abilities. Granted, she hasn't seen him in full action yet, but again, it comes back to the overprotectiveness. She doesn't want Bam to go to the floor of death. She doesn't really want to go there herself, so she's kind of putting Bam into a situation that she believes he's going to fail in, so that he doesn't have to go to that floor and be put in more danger. But if she had seen what he did against Holquin, what he's done against, or just with the needle in general, then of course she might actually have a different outcome and a different kind of point of view on things. But that's just my thoughts on that. Again, at first I was a little bit kind of shocked when we learned the fact that there was a code word for the 10 great families to get rid of someone they don't like, and then we saw Yuri give that to Bam before that, so making that connection was a bit of a, oh, hold on a minute, what's going on here? But then, again, we saw that she had someone to buy him back, which I guess is a nice thing, but at the same time it displays disloyalty and a lack of faith. So yeah. But that being said, another question with Yuri's character is, how on earth do roses give off murderous energy? I've never seen it. I know that a rose can have thorns and that can hurt you, but I mean, that's kind of going a bit far-fetched. Come on. That big climactic move though looked stunning. A bit overkill, but you need that type of power, that type of energy, that type of impact when dealing with a slayer known as Kuraka. So, I mean, yes, Yuri was holding back in her fight, but she kind of has to because she's insanely strong and she doesn't want to blow up the entire floor just by using her strength. On the other side, one character that really did surprise me in this arc though was Evan. We know that he's a guide, so he's got to be somewhat useful. But actually, he really surprised me in how useful he actually was. Showing off skills and items like being able to hide the footsteps and the sounds, as well as having that frog device that can eat up Shinzu and repair different things, amongst other abilities that we still do not know. So I'm intrigued to find out more about that. But as we head towards the Floor of Death, I do know that Shinzu is quite limited there because of the fact that there is no Guardian to make a contract with. So Evan having these items, I think he could be quite broken and quite overpowered if he's still able to use them without the use of Shinzu in that particular scenario. So yeah, I mean, you wouldn't need a Shinzu to use a sword, would you? Maybe it was an ignition weapon, but again, it's a different story. So Evan's character, he may be small, but he had a very big presence in the climactic stage of this arc that really did help out our main cast. So honestly, yeah, really surprising and made me respect this character a lot more than I did before watching it or reading this series. So with Bam now looking incredibly down and sad because some unfortunate events happened with Rak, Eon and that swordsman, should hopefully now give us some more development for his character in the next coming arcs. Otherwise, him just being sad and crying all the time is going to be no fun. Now, I did mention what type of development we could see from Bam's character in my other review, and that does link to the fact that Bam thinks that becoming a god might be a good thing. So if you want to know more about that, then make sure you head on over to my other video and check that out if you haven't already. But again, Kuraka is on the train. Rachel and Hoquin are working together while on the Hell train. So it looks like our enemies are staying close. But has Team Sweet and Sour made any progress in capturing Casino? We'll have to find out in the next arc as we fade to Team Sweet and Sour to see what they've been up to while Bam and the others have been trying to get Kaiser's name and liberate that floor. But that really does cover all the things I have to say about this video. The art style was fabulous. The chapters carried a lot of a serious undertone and made them more enjoyable to read with the action, with the vibes and the intensity that the chapters brought with them, with each and every piece of dialogue. So I'm excited to see what they have in store for us as we continue along the Hell train, get to the Floor of Death, and what huge plot twists are going to come in future arcs. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, and subscribe if you do like this content, and if you do like it, hit that thumbs up button. Go on, why not, it's free. Other than that though, let me know all your thoughts, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day, alligator, matane, goodbye.